record now. Okay, so it looks like we're recording. Yes, we are. Okay, hi. My name is Mike Seibert with 1847 Financial. I've been in the financial service industry for a long time, and obviously what's taking place right now in our country and the world is beyond belief. Just a month ago, everything was fine, and now we're all sitting home and wondering what the next things are what next things are gonna happen to us. Not only as a family, but as a community, as a country, and basically the entire world. So, the seminar tonight I thought I'd throw out there was how to get your retirement back on track, a safety first planning system that has been around for a long time. For some of you on the call for the first time, I see a bunch of people that I don't know. I see a bunch of advisors that I've trained in the past on here. And I also see some clients that, are using this safety first planning system. So let me introduce myself. My name is Mike Seibert. My website, if you're going to take some notes, I'm going to tell you to do certain things in regards to some of the information that you can go look for yourself in regards to what I'm talking about, because this may be new to a lot of people. I've been 31 years in the financial services industry. Started back in September of 1989, not knowing what anything was about. I had a finance degree from Penn State, and I went into the financial planning world not knowing a thing. And who think about it today? Who's going to invest their money with a 22-year-old kid out of college these days? Well, back then, I had a really good boss that taught me very well. And one time I was it was early in my career, maybe 6 months into it, and I was at an event, and there was someone up on stage talking about how to sell from a tax return. I went, that made a lot of sense to me. I was like, it's an added value. It's something that I could do as a younger person to maybe get a step up on someone who is more, who's more knowledge, or maybe has a little bit more experience in their careers. And so I volunteered for AARP. If any of your parents or any of you ever been, to a senior citizen center, there are tax counselors there that do tax returns for the elderly for free. Well, I was one of them. So I went to this church. I learned how to do tax returns as a 22-year-old. And for 10 years, I got some really good training about how to help people not only invest their money, but how to save money on a tax return. So in the beginning of my career, I was a traditional financial planner. And you're going to learn tonight, because times are changing and you need to change with them now. And I hope this webinar changes your life for the better, because for those who've never been introduced to this before, the first 10 years of my career, I was a traditional financial planner. When I learned this back in July of 1998, my career turned 180 degrees. I never looked back. I have a partner who's a CPA who was a gruffy kind of guy, and I showed this to him 20 years ago. And long story short, we've been partners for that long. He sold off 900 tax clients to come work with me because of the impact this had. He'd rather do this than do tax returns and help people out. And the more we help, hey, we get paid too. But the more we help you, the more we get paid. So back in July of 1998, I learned a planning system that for 3 days, it blew my mind. So like I said, you're going to see what this planning system's about. You're going to see why it's more important now to understand how this works. So again, my website, destinationretirement.com, check it out. There's a lot of information on there. That little video there that, let me just get my laser pointer up. Watch this 4-minute video later on tonight. It explains what I'm talking about today in about 4 minutes. So what we're talking about is helping you understand how retirement income streams work. Let's begin with the end in mind. The reason why we're saving money for the long term, it's not to have the biggest 401k. It's to have the highest, most reliable income stream that we can't outlive. We don't want to have any worries, all right? So this is an article that my partner sent to me yesterday. It's from a CPA magazine. People are living longer, but unfortunately now with less money. So because of COVID-19, this article is now more true than ever. It was true before this, how financial planning was working, all right? And nothing bad with traditional financial planning, but if there was one step better, why wouldn't people want to take a look at it? So let's kind of, take a step back and imagine you just retired. So I don't know who's on the call, if you're already retired or a pre-retiree, but let's take a step back and imagine the first day you enter retirement. Now, let's go 30 years into the future. All right. What would you like to have happen, when you're now in your 90s and you look back on how your retirement was? Did you want worries? Did you want sleepless nights? Did you want to have, something that was a little bit more secure, had guarantees to it, something you couldn't outlive? So that's what we're going to show you tonight. We're going to show you tonight what a 30-year retirement looks like. So let's either transport yourself to the day that you retire and see what it looks like from there. But now more than ever, with what's going on in the economy, imagine retiring a month ago. So think about, as a retiree, what challenges does a pre-retiree have? What challenges does a person who retired a month ago with no other job opportunities in the future for them, what are they doing right now? Well, that's why I kind of want to, go straight forward with this and tell you the difference between probability-based and safety-first financial planning. All right. So what attempts have you put in place that are working right now for you? Hopefully my clients understand that what I've done for you is working. The traditional world, or the probability-based world, it's not working. So, a solution to these challenges lies ahead within these slides. This is something that's not based on, anything that's a gray area. This is factual economic stuff. In fact, what we're going to go through tonight is all information I received from the world's leading economists, the highest academic minds that are here in our country right now. So tonight we're going to learn about what's the difference between probability-based and safety-first planning. All right. Really, what probability-based is called a one economic power approach to financial planning. What safety-first retirement planning is a two economic powers approach. You're going to find out what is Monte Carlo. If it sounds like gambling, it is. All right. I want you to be strategic with every financial decision from here on out, not convenient. Too many times people just max out their 401k, and because of what the economy was doing and our stock market was going straight up, people are like, I don't need to have, anything that you're talking about, Mike. Market's great. I'm earning these high rates of return. All right. Well, unfortunately, we don't know when another event like this is going to happen, but it will. And we'll, and what we want to do is make sure that, we don't panic, because panic is not a strategy. I don't want you to start selling off because of what's going on. And we all of us together, we'll get through this, no matter if you take my advice or you don't. We'll get through this as a country. We'll get through this as a community. We'll get through this as a family. But what I want to talk about tonight is about how to have your money get through this. All right. And where it starts from this book. It starts from Dr. Wade Pfau. And Dr. Wade Pfau wrote a book called Safety First Retirement Planning. Not only am I an advisor for 31 years, but the past 6 years, I've also been a national trainer for a software that Dr. Pfau endorsed, that Dr. Pfau used for his own financial plan. So he is one of the leading academic minds in the country. He's the professor of retirement income planning at the American College. We hired Dr. Pfau. The software I use is called Wealth Building Cornerstones. Wealth Building Cornerstones hired Dr. Pfau a few years ago to write a couple white papers for us, and we'll go over those in a little bit. And we'll find out what happened when he wrote these papers. But this is about safety first retirement planning. If you've never heard about it before, ask your financial planner. If they haven't heard about it before, then maybe have them talk to me. So I'm not here to totally, bomb traditional financial planning. I'm here to maybe show this webinar, this recorded event, to your financial advisor. Have them talk to and listen to, myself and listen to some of the broadcasts from Dr. Pfau. So this is his book, Safety First Retirement Planning. It came out in September of last year. On the back cover is another leading economist, another wonderful academic mind, from the business school at York University in Toronto. Right. What I wanted to read was on the back cover of this book. This is from Dr. Moshe Milevsky, and I'll read it. So hopefully this makes some sense to you. Wade Pfau, an authority in the field of retirement income planning, provides a whirlwind tour of capital markets, annuity and insurance products, and illustrates how risk pooling, write that down, that's key, risk pooling can optimize the decumulation phase of a life cycle. This book should be required reading for all misguided financial advisors, and I was one of them for the first 10 years of my career, who believe that a diversified portfolio of stocks and bonds is all that's needed to maximize the probability of financial success during the golden years of life. So take that to heart. It's not just about getting information from a home office and me telling you to buy a product. What I have done over the past 21 years using this type of planning system, I learned this in July of 1998. Again, I told you my career took a 180 degree turn. I've been using this approach for 21 years, almost 22, and it works. And now the pendulum is swinging back into the favor of this type of planning, not only because of what happened the last month, but also because of what's going on at the American College. So the American College is where all of my peers, all of the financial planning community in the United States goes to get designations. CLU, CHFC, CAP, CFP, you name it, okay? All the alphabets behind people's names. And obviously I have a lot of names, a lot of initials behind my name. But I think the most important designation right now, and the most popular designation right now at the American College, is called the RICP, now more than ever. It's called the Retirement Income Certified Professional. And this is the designation that Dr. Pfau is the head professor of. This is the designation that's teaching financial advisors what you're going to see tonight. So if your financial advisor does not have this designation behind their name, tell them to get it. Tell them to call me. I'm here to help, not cut people down. So this designation is being used by financial advisors, and the software and the planning system that I use, that's the teaching that it's going on with the classes that are involved with this designation. So, this is, why isn't everyone doing this? Well, I learned it back in 1998. It was clear as day to me why I was going to do it. All right. It made so much financial sense because of the training I had the first 10 years of my career. Taking that accounting background, the financial planning background, and bringing them together with all those wonderful initials behind my name, they didn't mean squat. When I learned this in 1998, all those initials went to the wayside. I went, wow, can I help people out? Wow. And this was back in 1998. Well, today, why isn't everyone doing this? Because this is from my notes, and gosh, do I have a lot of stuff to give you folks if you want it, all right? A lot of reading material, a lot of great stuff based on, are you a driver personality? Well, here's an article for you. Are you an engineer, analytical? Here's a 50-page, article you can read. So at the bottom line though, for everyone, this is new planning. This is a paper written that we hired Dr. Pfau to do back in 2015. Retirement income planning has now emerged as a distinct field in the financial service profession, though it's still in its infant stage and undergoing growing pains. It's new. The growing pains are people are losing money. People are worrying about, are they going to outlive their money? People are having sleepless nights as a retiree. It doesn't have to be. Okay, so next, though not recognized by all players, one matter is very clear, and it's that the financial circumstances facing retirees differ dramatically from pre-retirees. So like I said, I teach this class 6-7 times a year all over the country. And the folks that come to my class, the first question I ask them is, out of 100 financial advisors, how many truly understand how retirement income streams work? And in the beginning, there's some people that are brand new to this. They have no idea what's ahead of them the next day and a half. And I'll get some folks go, maybe 40 out of 100, maybe 30 or 50 out of 100. I go, all right, I'm going to ask that question. It's going to be my last question tomorrow. And that's what I do. The last question, a day and a half later, I'll go, all right, out of 100 financial advisors, how many truly understand how retirement income streams work? And they all put their heads down. They go, oh my gosh, I can't believe this number is so low. And it is really low. And that's why the American College stepped up, created this RICP designation, Retirement Income Certified Professional, to help get back to this safety first retirement planning. So let's talk about the challenges as you begin retirement, all right? So think about it. You're a brand new retiree, and if you God forbid you retired a month ago, you know these challenges and these questions are running through your mind every night. Will I run out of money? Will I have to go back to work? I don't know if I saved enough. What if I live too long? And this one's the number one risk, right? The longer people live, like if you retire at 65 and you die at 67, well, not a good thing, but you only had 2 years of bad things happening to your money. What if you live 20 years, 30 years? You know, an average 65-year-old couple, there's a 50% probability one of them is living into their mid 90s. You need to have this money last a long time. You need to have this money go through all the ups and downs of the stock market and all the other things that take place. What about nursing homes? You know, again, number 4, the stock market volatility, which we know too much about right now. What about nursing homes, and what about them taking money away from me? So those are the challenges that we're going to attack here in the next bunch of slides here, and then I'll answer questions at the end, and then we'll talk about what the next steps are to get together. So this is it was one of the great slides from way back when, you know, and for some folks who are my clients, I apologize for you seeing this again, but for the first time, folks here, what is the objective of climbing a mountain? Is the objective to climb a mountain to get to the top, or is the objective to get back down safely? So this is the accumulation phase. This is what is easy to do. You can go on the internet and just throw your money into, you know, since 2008, you can just throw your money into anything and everything is just earning double-digit rates of return. The question is, at the top of the mountain, how do we take that pile of money we created and turn it into a sustainable income stream that we can outlive the rest of our lives? And that's what Dr. Moshe Milevsky talked about. That's called the decumulation phase. You know, there's Dr. David Babel from the Wharton School of Finance and University of Penn. You know, this is called dollar cost averaging. This is called reverse dollar cost averaging. You're taking money out. Money cannot be treated the same way in accumulation versus distribution. So let's take a look at a timeline. Let's take a look at why this problem is occurring, okay? So it all starts way back when, pre-1980, all right? There was no such thing as a 401k before 1980. The only thing that was available for you to have at retirement was a pension plan. That's it. And that was safety first retirement planning. That is, the boss put a bunch of money in, the company put a bunch of money in, you sat there, got a nice check. Pensions only. Then in 1980, guess what was invented? The 401k. And the 401k, we went from a defined benefit plan where the benefit you would receive per month was defined to a defined contribution plan where you really didn't know what you got. And all you had was a defined contribution going into this thing that grew. And now people are wondering, well, how do I take money out of this? Well, what happened with this is we went from safety first planning to probability based. We're basically flipping a coin. And you'll see in the future, when you retire, nobody knows what your sequence of returns are going to be. These poor folks who retired a month ago, well, they know what their sequence of return has been the first month. Not good. All right. But if you retired in 2009, you probably are living a pretty solid retirement. So you don't know the day you retire how you're going to take this thing called a 401k and turn it into an income stream, because it's all probability based. Flip a coin. Are you running out of money or not? Well, the pendulum swinging back again, that RICP designation, the economic based planning system I learned way back in 1998 that I've been using for over 20 years is becoming more popular now because of the RICP designation. You know, so what you're going to learn is how to create a personal pension. Learn about what is called a volatility buffer. So in the present, there's still the majority of my peers thinking they can beat the market. I don't think right now many of the advisors are beating the market, all right? But what we can do is show you how to get back to a safety first planning and how to get back the money you lost in the last month. And what we're going to do is we're not going to show you how to get your 401k dollars back by showing you, hey, this is the greatest stock or mutual fund. We're going to show you how to get it back by changing the planning that you're doing with your money from probability based. We're going to get rid of that planning system and show you how to do what is called safety first planning. And all the leading academic minds have been touting this for decades. So like I said, retirement planning used to be easier. You worked for a company, the company put all this money into a retirement plan for all the employees during the accumulation phase. Then when you retired, you said, hey, I have all these years here. I have all, all this money that's going that I was earning. They did a factor on how many years in your salary, and they gave you a good percentage of your salary plus Social Security, and you lived happily ever after. Well, pensions are gone. I know a few companies in my town that still have pensions yet. And I look at these guys, and at the gym, about a month ago, I was talking to somebody who had a pension plan. And I said, hey, you're the only one here who's not worried. He's like, damn right, I'm not, because he has a pension plan. It's a guaranteed income stream he can't outlive. Well, I need to teach everyone in here how to do this for themselves, because you can't do it from work anymore. So during the distribution phase, it takes a lot of stress off and a lot of worries out of your life. And you're going to have a lot better sleep when you're retired, knowing that you can get guaranteed income streams. So when it started, 1980. So if you're taking notes, just Google 401k and the word monster, those two words. And you can read this article. The inventor of the 401k says he created a monster. So this is Ted Benna. This is an article that is all over the internet. It was written, this one was written September 2016. The 401k, what he created, and he basically found some tax loopholes in the code, and he created code 401k. And that's the code with the IRS that permitted this type of planning. Well, what happened was the 401k was supposed to be an add-on to a pension plan. It wasn't supposed to dismantle the pension system, but it did. So if the inventor of the 401k says he created a monster, why are people just maxing out their 401ks not knowing why he thinks it's a monster? It's not because a 401k is bad. You'll see what some of the concerns I have with 401ks are. It's that the 401k was not supposed to get rid of the pension system, but it did, because companies are going, hey, this is so much cheaper. Why not just stop this pension thing? Because people are living longer, interest rates are going down. Let's just freeze the pension, or let's just not even create one, and let's just create this 401k plan. We'll give it a nice match. They can go into the stock market, and when the market's flying high, everything's fine. But now, again, one of the reasons why I'm having this webinar tonight is because when things go down like this, you need to understand what the backup plan is. All right. Like I said, the problem with the 401k, it's not the accumulation phase. 401ks are great. I highly, highly, highly recommend them, because we do need to have them in our lives the day that we retire. Here's the problem with the 401k. It's probability based. Okay, and probability based means, am I going to run out of money or not? And so when we have that problem of am I going to run out of money or not, the problem with a 401k plan is the low distribution rates that you're forced to take if you don't want to run out of money. So that's the problem. So the 401k only is what I see. What I see the majority of the times when I meet a person, and I'm like, all right, so tell me what your plan is. And they go, what do you mean? I go, what's your plan? You have this big 401k. You're doing a great job savings. So now let's fast forward your life and become a retiree. What's your plan? How much are you going to take out? They go, I don't know, whatever I need. I go, well, right now, the safe withdrawal rate is around 3%. That's only 30,000 per million. He goes, well, I need more than that. I go, well, then the probability of you running out of money increases the higher the distribution rate. So 401ks are, like I said, are awesome, but I want to show you how to turn a 401k into a machine later on that just produces guaranteed cash. All right. So this goes back all to back into 1994 and the 4% rule. All right. So during 1994, the 4% rule was created, and this is the rule that most people are still following today. And the 4% rule was created to tell people that how much they can pull out as a distribution. This is not what you're earning; it's a distribution rate. So it's basically, if you have $1 million, and I'm going to use that number a lot tonight just because it's easy to multiply by. If you have $1 million, take out 40 grand, index for inflation, and based on going back to 1926 and 10-year rolling time periods, and so we'll go from 1926, 40 years out, 1927, 40 years out, 1928, etc. That based on that distribution rate, that was the safe max rate back in 1994. All right, so Bill Bengen, the guy that invented this, said that, hey, that's what you could pull out. That's inflation. It didn't take into consideration taxes. It didn't take into consideration fees that everyone pays on these accounts. but it also didn't take into consideration the lower interest rates that we're in right now. And then also big, huge downturns we're having that just took place in 2000, 2001, 2002, 2008, and now in 2020. So the 4% rule, when if you want to read the book, Safety First Retirement Planning, Dr. Pfau talks a lot about this. So the 4% rule, this is the 4% rule around the world. The 4% rule only worked in Canada and the United States and a little bit in New Zealand, because when we start taking a look at other countries, the safe max rate is much lower than up here and these countries here, right? So what we need to understand is that, well, if we live in Canada, United States, it's okay, but everything else, the safe max rate is way less. So the success for the 4% rule is here, and the withdrawal ratio for a 90% success rate are these numbers right here. So, there's only a 68% success rate across all countries, and the safe withdrawal rate is 2.8%. All right, so let's keep on with the 3 to 4% rule. I'm not going to beat a dead horse. We're going to get into the solution here in a second, all right? But with the 3 to 4% rule, we also have to bring inflation into this, all right? So let's say you got $1 million at retirement. Well, that's only going to produce $30,000 to $40,000 per year. Right now, about 30. When we talk about inflation, and if you're a younger retiree who has 20 years to retirement and you have a $100,000 lifestyle, well, in 20 years with just a 3% inflation, you're going to need 180 grand to have the same lifestyle as you do today. So if we take the 3% rule and how much money we would need to have in our investment accounts, our 401ks, our brokerage accounts, et cetera, we would need to have $5 million accumulated, because $5 million at 3.5% is going to produce 180 grand. And then again, it's still probability based, because I don't know what sequence of returns you're going to get the day you hit retirement. So that's the problem with the 3 to 4% rule, is you're stuck. So this is a real important slide. This is from Dr. Pfau again, all right? This is lifetime sequence of return risk, all right? Where is the risk relating to relative importance for annual returns? So when you're younger, the returns don't matter. In the 30th year here is the day you retire. So the relative importance of annual returns are much higher in the first 5 to 10 years than they are later on. Long story short, don't lose money the first 5 to 10 years. If you retired in 2007, not so good. If you got out of the market and retired in 2009, you're set. So it all depends. So lifetime sequence of return risk is real important. We call that, going back a slide, we call that the retirement red zone. Before, you don't want to lose any money, and definitely after, 5 years after. So 5 years before and 5 years after is called the retirement red zone. We don't want to lose any money. We want to be a little bit safer with our investment decisions. So let's talk about distribution rates and what safety first planning is, okay? What we need to show clients and what we can get is right now about a 7% distribution on your money, all right? This range here is based on a much higher interest rate environment, which we're not in now. So let's go between about a 7% distribution rate. So 3% with probability based, 7% with safety first. So now what we're doing is sitting back and kind of like, let's go back to pre-1980 when no one had any concerns, and you sat back and you got these guaranteed checks coming in all the time. And I love that word guaranteed, because a lot of you who are my clients who are set up with the majority of your money that's safe, guaranteed, are sitting back going, phew. If you're still sitting there going, well, how do I get this back? We'll talk about that as well. But again, we're going to switch from probability-based to safety first planning. And that's the key to make sure that we can get a higher, more reliable income stream. So when there is volatility in retirement, what can you do? All right. What are the things that people are doing right now as I speak? Are they spending conservatively? Are they backing off on some of their things they wanted to do? Are they, instead of, and it's probably a good idea. So if you're taking notes and you haven't, if you're a retiree and you haven't started Social Security yet, look into it, because at least you can then not take as much money out of your investment accounts. All right. spending flexibility, you know, up and down. When the market's up, I can spend more. When the market's down, I'll spend less. That's not cool. All right. How about how do we reduce volatility? Well, if we reduce volatility, then we're also getting out of the returns we had like the past 3 days. But one of the things we're going to talk about tonight is managing volatility. It's called the buffer asset. All right. We're going to avoid selling at losses. So we'll talk about what a buffer asset is, what is part of that RICP curriculum about teaching financial advisors, hey, we need to have 4 or 5 years of buffer assets. So these are some of the things you maybe want to ask your advisor. Number one is what's their plan? And if it's living off interest, well, you know that's probability based. You can ask them, well, what about safety first? And number two, well, what do I do when the market goes down? What do I do when the market goes, my account goes from $1 million to 900 grand? Am I going to still keep pulling money out of there? Well, that doesn't make any sense, does it? What we do is, and we'll get into this more in a couple slides, what we do is we say, hey, if you still have some of your money in the market not guaranteed, let's stop the flow coming out of the investment and let's take money from a non-correlated asset. And we'll go over what a non-correlated asset is and some of the strategies here in a few slides. All right, so let's take a look at a problem, okay? The problem with retirement is fluctuating returns. So when money is being withdrawn for income, and we have the ups and downs, we're withdrawing money when the market's up, we're withdrawing when the market's down, and that's the problem. That's reverse dollar cost averaging. So let's take a look at an example here. Well, this is an example from Vanguard. So if you're taking notes, go to or Google Vanguard Retirement Nest Egg Calculator. All right, and the first place I want you to go on this website, it's a great website. Vanguard did an awesome job creating this to help to tell basically their clients, hey, our wonderful, which they are, low-cost mutual funds don't take too much money out. Right? Be careful. All right, so they explain, and about halfway down on this website, you can click on what is Monte Carlo, and here's the example that they show you. So example number one. And sadly, this is what I see all the time. So imagine if you had the hindsight of knowing that you would earn a 12% rate of return on your money the day you retired. 12%, you knew it, all right? So couldn't you take out something less? Well, in this example here, you know, you're earning a 12% return. You begin with $1 million, and you pull out $75,000 a year. Well, you're only pulling out 7.5. And that's what this red line represents, is what your account balance grows to 30 years later. It's worth about $6.4 million. Well, the problem with this is that's an average return of 12%, and it doesn't matter if it's 12 or 6.5 or 5, the market never does a flat return. So if anyone out there ever got a fee-based financial plan done, which we have the software to do fee-based financial plans, we won't use it because the majority of the time these fee-based financial plans are wrong. They're showing this flat return, where every single year in retirement, they're showing you what your expenses are, they're showing you what interest you earn, and never a year will they show you a negative return. All right, they're never gonna show you market drops 10 or 20%. Well, what are they gonna do? Well, that's called Monte Carlo, and that's what we're discussing now. So these softwares that are out there, eMoney, Money Guide Pro, we have them. I just won't use them because they don't make any sense. And they come in a nice packet. They're about 5 pounds of paper, and based on sequence of return risk and market volatility, they're going to become a doorstop in a couple years. So let's again take a look at this 12% return and pulling out $75,000 index for inflation. Things look great. Well, let's go to example number 2. Well, where they got that 12% return from was the S&P 500, 1973 to 2002. Well, guess what the market average? 12%, 1973 to 2002. However, instead of having a flat 12% return, all right, the returns varied from -26 to +37. And this red line represents what happened in 1973, pulling out $75,000 index for inflation. These folks ran out of money in about 16 years. Well, why did that happen? All right, because remember Dr. Fow's slide. The first years in retirement are really, really important. Well, the first 2 years, the market was down 14 and down 26. All right, and then the market recovered, but the person had a much smaller pile of money. They had about a little bit over 500 grand left. And then in 1975, 1976, the market shot up big time. However, these retirees had a smaller pile of money to earn those big returns. So unfortunately, they ran out of money. So let's take a look at another example. This is also a 12% return. This is 1954 to 1983. And instead of running out of money, which happened here, instead of having this nice flat gradual increasing curve, these folks had $8.4 million roughly after 30 years. So all three of these scenarios averaged a 12% return. Well, 1954, 1955, guess what? They were up 52 and up 31. Well, that'll do it, because your accounts now can buffer all the things that are going to happen because your accounts just got dramatically higher. So 1973, no good. 1954, great. Let's take a look at some other scenarios. And again, this is going back to the previous slide, is you need to be real careful in the first few years in retirement because of sequence of return risk. So it's really, really important not to lose money. So Vanguard did a study. They'd had another simulation of 10 different retirement scenarios, and only 2 people had money left after 30 years based on the same scenario. That's called Monte Carlo. It is gambling. And why do you have to gamble on retirement? Get educated. Let's get out of this gambling world of retirement and wondering, am I going to be okay? Well, we have to switch again from probability-based financial planning to safety first. So when you get to this site, you can take a look at, something that hopefully make a lot of sense to you. And I'm going to just kind of mimic what we just did right there, but with 100,000 simulations. So on the website, 1973 was one simulation. You go, hey, Mike, you're padding it. That's just a year you picked. All right. Well, what Vanguard does is you can move this slider, and it's just a screenshot. You can go 30 years. You can slide it as long as you want. You can have much money as you want. So 30 years, $1 million and a 7.5% distribution rate. 50% stocks, 50% bonds. And then when you run simulation, it runs 100,000 different sequence of returns. It runs 1973 and a lot of other ones as well. Well, what happened was in 24 years, in 30 years, there's a 24% probability of money left. Either you can have a lot of money left or $1. That means still you were a success. Now, the next year you're going to run out of money. But what happens here is this high distribution rate was the problem. Because of these 100,000 simulations, some folks run out of money early, some folks had a lot of money, but you just don't know. So again, 7.5% distribution, 24% success rate. So how can we combat that? Well, let's take out less money. Let's take out 3%. So now I moved the slider from 7.5% distribution down to 3%. And I ran the 100,000 simulations again. There's a 98% success rate. Pretty good. Well, that's $30,000 per million. Not so good. Versus 75,000 per million. Talk about that $45,000 differential. So you are in the biggest financial catch-22 of your life. You have this big pile of money, and you can't touch it. It's sitting there to create an income stream for you. And unfortunately, what my office is about is my team is me and my wealth planning team and my wealth advisors and some of the guys in my office. We kind of all work together. But what I want you to understand is that if you have money sitting in an investment and you need that investment to produce an income stream for you, you can't touch that investment. That's what we need to find out, and you need to understand about it, which is called technically liquid money. That money's yours, but that $1 million you have in that investment account, you can't touch. You need it to generate an income stream. The only thing you get to do is every quarter, get the statement in the mail, kind of open it up, look inside, and wonder what your balance is going. Is it up or is it down? Well, obviously now it's down. The other type of money in retirement is called truly liquid money. This is what I want to show you how to create. Truly liquid money is you can take money out of that account and it's not going to affect your income stream. Technically liquid money, no guarantees. Truly liquid money, I'm going to show you how to create guarantees. And there's only one way of doing it. And again, we need to create this 2 economic power approach to switch over to the safety first planning system. All right. So let's talk about how you're going to save for retirement income. Clients need to know how much to save. Some people are saving enough, some people aren't. And we go through that exercise. The next part is real important. By showing you where to put it is going to show you how we're going to change from probability based to safety first. It's the allocation of savings for efficiency. So where are we going to put it? So think about like a teeter-totter approach, all right? There's two powers. The first power is the accumulation power that we're all familiar with. Interest rates, investment vehicles, et cetera. We need them in our lives, all right? And to create an efficient balance, you're going to now be introduced to the distribution power, the actuarial science power, or the power that Dr. Moshe Milevsky was talking about. That's called risk pooling. And these are actuarial science and insurance-based vehicles. And we need to balance out these two powers. So if we have too much money going into the investment industry, which everyone does that I meet, they're just pounding money in the investment industry and they don't know why. I ask them, why are you doing this? They're like, oh, I don't know, everyone else is doing it, all right? Well, that's inefficient. So we have an inefficient balance. And same thing, if we're pounding too much money over to the insurance industry, that's also inefficient. So to have this stuff work out best for you, we need to have a balance between these two industries. And this is where we get into this, agnostic view on financial planning. So I have a boatload of articles. We're going to create meetings. We're going to do virtual meetings. We're going to do some things with people. But I want anyone right now that wants to get some information from me, just type in the chat box, email me later on about how to do this. We need to have, and I was lucky enough back in 1998 to be trained at a higher level in both industries, investment and insurance industry, not just investments like I was. That's all I was doing, was investments, investments, investments. When I learned this, I went, oh, I didn't know about the insurance industry. I didn't know how powerful it is. So I take an agnostic view to financial planning. That means I just don't sell investments. We do investments, our firm does. I have my wealth management team that helps clients with money management all day long. They do a great job, all right? So, but if you only sold investments, well, guess what you're gonna sell? Investments. That's how you're gonna feed your family. I get it. If you only sold insurance, I get it. You're gonna get commissions, but if that's all you, that's how you feed your family, I get it. So if I got these two individuals in a room, a person that only sold investments and a person that only sold insurance, and we talked about retirement income planning, they'd fight like cats and dogs. Here's the thing. We need to bring these two powers and these two industries together to have equal balance between the two. One is not better than the other. If the investment industry had an arm wrestling match with the insurance industry, most people think, well, investments would kill it. Obviously not. And the insurance industry wouldn't kill it either. It'd be a dead draw. We need to have both these powers in place to switch over from probability-based to safety first. So most folks go, well, I'm going to show you, here's your lifestyle shortage. Lifestyle shortage is because of one economic power or probability-based living off interest. If I can show you how to create that, get that gap shortened or get rid of it completely on how much you're going to need to get that lifestyle up, I'm going to show you how to do that using the same amount of savings. And we have, the more time you have, the better, but this works for anyone, right? Even a person real close to retirement. Those who are in retirement, I can show you some different things, but I'm talking some of you pre-retirees right now that are wondering, am I doing the right thing? Well, to have this lifestyle jump, we need to have that switch over to a safety first planning system. So a lot of stuff on this slide. So let me take a step back and let me kind of explain this to you in regards to another point of view. And the other point of view is we shouldn't be thinking about how big our 401k is going to be. We should be thinking about how much income we need. So the first thing here is this Excel spreadsheet is assets dedicated to generate $100,000 a year of income for 2 lives. So pretend you're 65 years old. So if I have a 65-year-old person come into my office, a couple, and they go, hey, Mike, I heard you're a pretty good retirement income planner. I'm going, yeah. In my mind, I'm going, wish I would have met you a little bit earlier, but I can still help them. All right. So this person goes, well, Mike, here's all my stuff. We got $3.3 million in investments. And I go, wow, you did a really good job. Where'd you work at, that kind of thing. Some niceties. And I go, all right, well, I have a bunch of different choices for you. All right. I have option A. Option A is to go over to my team of wealth advisors, and we can use this probability-based planning system. And you need to take all the $3.3 million and you need to invest it into investments. And that money manager, the guys that work with me, my money managers are going to give you guys $100,000 a year. because right here is the safe withdrawal rate, 2.97%. 2.97% times 3.3 million generates 100 grand. They go, what other choices are there? I go, well, you know, do you want any guarantees? They go, yeah, I want guarantees. I go, well, do you have any additional money? Because we could go to a bank, but you're going to need $6.6 million, because $6.6 million at 1.5% will generate 100 grand a year for you and your wife. No, that's not an option. I go, okay, well, we need to get away from the interest rate power, and we need to start swinging over to the insurance industry and this actual science, this risk pooling power. Okay, so this is an article, if you're going to Google something again for you analyticals out there, it's a 2012 paper written by Garth Bernard. He's an actuary. It's called The Utility of Illiquidity. One of my favorite articles, and it's something for you analyticals to read, because this is the gist of this article, all right? So I go, hey, Mr. Client, I got option B here for you. Option B may be something you're going to want to take a look at. I don't know. Let's check it out. So these products are called, this retirement income tool is called a variable or index annuity with a joint income rider. So for 2 lives, the insurance company is going to invest your money. If it's variable, it's in mutual funds, it's in the stock market. If it's an index annuity, it's in something that has guarantees. But both products are going to give you a joint income stream for not only your life, Mr. Client, but if you pass away first, your wife is still going to get 100 grand. However, you're only, of the 3.3 million, just give us 2.2. You still have access to the money. There's some limitations on it. There's a surrender charge on it, but give me 2.2. That $1.1 million of extra money you have, that's truly liquid money. Do what you want with it. That has no surrender charge on it. Spend it all. Buy a shore house. Do whatever you want with it. Because what we're talking about here is how to generate $100,000 a year of retirement income for 2 lives. Well, this product will do it. 2.2 million. The payout guaranteed. And again, this is up and down. I did this Excel spreadsheet last year, so maybe a little bit lower, a little bit higher, but it's right around 4.5%. $2.2 million times 4.5, 100 grand a year for 2 lives. 1.1, go do what you want. All right. More than likely, if you live a long time, you're going to run out of the 2.2 because it's a pretty high distribution rate. So remember, going back to Vanguard, we do a 4.5% distribution rate, 100,000 simulations. There's a good probability you're going to run out of money too. You're not going to run out of income though. And that $1.1 million, you could have just put it into some investment and let it sit, and that would be your inheritance. All right. Well, let's go take a look at, and when the guy and the lady goes, all right, what are our options, Mike? I go, let's go option C. Right. This is option C. It's called a joint single premium immediate annuity. It's like a joint pension plan. All right. You know, when people go into a place of work where they have a pension plan, people love those things, but they don't like creating their own. Well, that's what you need to do, guys. You need to create your own pension plan. So take some of your money, take some of this 3.3 million and give an insurance company 1.6 million. And that $1.6 million is now off the table. It's irrevocably transferred to an insurance company that's going to give you a 6.02% payout for 2 lives. You got 1.6 million bucks gone. But what you're going to get in return is 100 grand a year guaranteed for 2 lives. What you also get in return is about $1.7 million of money that's truly liquid. Do whatever you want with it. Okay. Volatility buffer. That we'll talk in a little bit. That's another safety first planning technique that the RICP designation is promoting. But the one that has the highest payout, the other choice, okay, is called a single life pension. It's your own personal pension plan. All right. It's going back to the good old days where you don't have to worry. And this pension plan called the single premium immediate annuity is only based on 1 life. All right. So what this person does, they go, hey, Mike, of the 3.3, how much do I need for this? I go 1.4. I go, all right, well, there's some downsides to this, Mr. Client, but let's see if we can work this out. Give me 1.4. You have $1.9 million of truly liquid money. As a 65-year-old, guess what you could do with that? Buy your own life insurance for 1.4 million, because if you should pass away, your wife is going to get this account and the life insurance to replace the money you traded away. That's how we're balancing out the teeter-totter of money, investments and insurance versus investments only. I got $3.3 million that I have to worry about versus guarantees, guys. So guaranteed, not guaranteed, 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 not guaranteed. So we have to really now, with what's going on in the world, we need to use the insurance industry to help buffer all the problems that are taking place. These are income streams you can't outlive no matter what. All right, so getting on here, I want to keep this to just about an hour. Here's the software that I use. This is a case study that I just designed for my my advanced software class that hopefully I'll have coming up here in Philadelphia in a couple of months. But this is a case study of a 50-year-old. They want to retire at 65. They had $1 million in their portfolio before the market declined. And I already did this planning for them a month ago. And I said, well, based on one economic power or probability-based planning, that's your only strategy you have in place right now, Mr. Client. You're on track for 100 grand, 120 grand a year. That's just living off the interest, a safe withdrawal rate. But now a month later, they had their money in the market. It's only worth 750,000. All right. Well, now we did the after, example, and this is showing that 25% decline in the market took the retirees' retirement income at 65 from 120,000 a year, adding the same amount of money that they did up here down to 98 grand a year. So that's what this just happened in the last month did to this person's retirement income. And again, that's what we need to measure is income streams in retirement. Using the safety first to economic power strategy and showing you how to balance out these two economic powers. Again, the investment industry is not better than the insurance industry and vice versa. We're going to use the same amount of money that they did in this strategy. So I'm using the same amount of savings, and using the same amount of savings, I can get not only what they thought they were going to get in retirement or what they kind of had planned for, I can get them more. This isn't smoke and mirrors. This is fact. I have all the leading academic minds across the country, Canada, you name it, the world, talking about guaranteed income streams. And this isn't new. It's been around forever. But it's becoming more popular now because what's happening in the economy. So if I can then take, using a covered asset strategy, safety first planning, take your retirement income up to 158,000 with 139,000 guaranteed, as advisors, we can't just throw that word out there and not have it go through compliance. This is compliance proof, or went through compliance. Of the 158, 139 is guaranteed to last forever. Okay, that's covered asset. The other strategy called safety first planning is volatility buffer. Volatility buffer is basically this. It's when you're pulling money from an investment account, like people are now as retirees, and the market goes down. We need to stop pulling money out of that. Again, like I said before, we need to find a non-correlated asset to pull money from. And the assets you could use that's not correlated to the stock market are cash. Well, that's not that efficient, but it's available to you. So if you got $1 million, the account goes down to 900, you should stop taking money out of the account, taking your income out of that $900,000 and just let it come back. Let it breathe. Give it time to grow again. Let's pull money out of other assets first. Cash value of life insurance. A big thing that the RICP program is promoting are called reverse mortgages. They're not bad if used properly. They're called HECMs, home equity conversion mortgages. A home equity conversion mortgage can be used right now to supplement your income until the market comes back. Why do you want to keep pulling money out of this account that keeps going down? All right, and the last one that I talked about before was folks who are in their early 60s who are going, well, I like this. Everyone's saying delay Social Security, delay Social Security. And I'm like going, why? Your accounts are down, they're getting hammered. Be strategic. Let's maybe start Social Security and lower the distribution rate coming out of your investment accounts. We really need to buffer what's going on in the market right now. So this is what we're going to do for folks that want to sit down with me is we're going to determine your retirement income goal. We're going to take a look at what your lifestyle is now. And let's say you're 5, 10, 15, 20 years into retirement. We're going to kind of get a basic number of what you need on an annual basis based on your lifestyle today. You can throw a couple things out. You're no longer putting money into your 401k. The kids are off the payroll. The mortgage hopefully is done, or maybe it's not. But let's just say it's done. So we can take those things that you're spending money on now, and we can subtract from what you need. And then we can add in Social Security. Maybe you do have a pension, those types of things. And we can get a rough estimate if you're on track or not to find out how much you're going to need. The second question is the most important one. As important as what's going on today is how much of that income do you want guaranteed? And it can be anywhere from 0 to 100. Okay. Nobody answers 0. The lowest number I ever had an answer on was 70%. Okay. Well, guess what? You go to 50 different financial planners, you're going to get maybe 50 different ways to retire. If you want guarantees and you want to have either between 70 or maybe higher percent of your percentage of your income guaranteed, only one way of doing it. It's risk pooling with insurance companies. It's bringing the investment industry and the insurance industry together and having them work as one. If you have a financial advisor who's an investment only person, I get it. I'll go to lunch with them. I'll have a cup of coffee with them. We can all meet together. I'm here to create a team. I still need them to do the accumulation, but then let me help them, teach them and you about distribution. Second thing is liquidity. Well, that's the volatility buffer. That's what we need to have in place if you don't put guarantees on your income stream. So what I really want to do for clients is take care of 1 and 2. Let's get you an income stream that you're satisfied with. Let's get a lot of it guaranteed. And then number 2, let's set up a liquidity pool that's not correlated to the stock market that we need to live off of if the market goes down. And as long as I take care of 1 and 2, I'd rather have more money go to your kids than the IRS. And I think that's a fair plan. All right, so let's take a look at this one different way. Well, before 1980, it was safety first. So think of this triangle as where a person got their income stream from. So before 1980, it was pension plans, and then Social Security, and then they had a little bit of money that they took income from, maybe in savings, or CD rates were so high back then, but they had a little bit of money that they used to take income from. Well, when the world went upside down in 1980, when 401ks replaced pension plans, this is what it's now. It went from safety first to probability planning, where our nest egg is the account that's producing the highest income stream that we need to rely on most. Then there's Social Security, and maybe someone has a pension, a little bit. I don't know too many people have pensions anymore, but the folks that do, they're happy. Folks that still have them, they're frozen, but they're a very small part of your income stream. So what we need to do is we need to show you how to flip your money back around to get to safety first and get guaranteed income streams into play. All right, so how much to save? We'll talk about that, the volume of savings you need to put away into these 2 industries to get things done. Where you go in both industries, it all depends. Okay, so where do I put it? It's the most efficient place. I'm going to show you some strategies about, where you're going to get different income streams and how it helps. But again, this is new to a lot of people. I get it. So I'm going to show you 3 scenarios first: good, better, best. Good means, all right, we're going to put a little bit of money over from the investment industry, the insurance industry. Better, and then best. And it all depends on who you are, and I'll take it slow and I'll explain everything to you to make sure that you don't have to worry about being a retiree right now in this day and age. So there's my contact information. Destination Retirement, check it out. There's a lot of good things on the website. At the bottom are a lot of links. The link to Vanguard, the link for the 401k article by Ted Benna about why he calls it a monster. There's a link there to check how long you're going to live. You put in some information, and this actuarial.org website's going to give you some information about how long they project that you should live. There's also some of the things about the RICP designation, etc. So please check that website out, that short video there to watch. Email me. What I'm doing right now is I'm going to be setting up virtual coffee meetings. So email me. Here's my cell phone number, 610-360-8187. Call me. I'm at home for 2 weeks. Text me. Let's set something up. Let's set up a virtual coffee meeting, in the morning, or for those of you after 4 o'clock, let's set up a virtual cocktail meeting. I'll be more than happy to talk to you again about what's going on and just kind of talk. Let's start our conversation first. Let's make sure that what you're on track for is what you want. Be strategic, not convenient. All right, so again, there's my information. I have a couple questions and answers here I got to go through right now. But again, what I want to do is, if you sit down with me, the Safety First planning book is available to you. I have a lot of them in my office. If we talk, I'll send you a free book. You can read through it. You can talk. You can read through it, and we can talk about the book. So let me get to some of these questions that are on the docket here. Right. So when you talk about the other economic power, what the insurance industry, what do you mean specifically? All right, great question. The first thing is insurance 101. There are no deals in the insurance industry. The insurance industry is smart. They've been around for a long time, and they're going to be around much longer in the future. They didn't have any problems in the Great Depression because of how they're set up for business. So an insurance industry is all about risk pooling. And since there are no deals in the insurance industry, if you buy one product, there are if you buy two. So I'm going to show you how to create a deal in the insurance industry by buying or investing your money in two different products now and then maybe in the future. Thanks for that question. Tim asks about, do you think Roth conversions are a good idea right now? Absolutely. So again, with my tax background, I think the way the market has been going, which is down, let's talk about converting some of your money from Roth, from traditional IRA over to a Roth. Or maybe take a look at, putting more money into the Roth 401k. If your plan allows it, take a look at moving some money from traditional 401k to Roth 401k. It all depends on the plan document. But especially what we need to take a look at is the traditional IRA side is, yes, absolutely. I think it's a good time to move money over from traditional IRAs to Roth IRAs. Two more questions. How do we set up a meeting? Just again, call me, email me. So 529 plan took a hit. Do you still recommend 529 plans? I actually never recommended 529 plans. I did in the early 90s until I learned this planning system. What you're doing with a 529 plan is you're saving money and then you're cutting it off and you're starting your exponential curve all over again. So for you younger folks who are saving for your kids' college, there's a much more efficient way that's not going to whack your income stream in retirement as bad as saving money into a 529 plan does. So that's the last of the questions. Again, contact information, call me, email me. I'm here to help. I'm here to teach. I want to thank everyone tonight. Be safe, be healthy, and have a great night.